Ever heard of a general so brilliant, so feared, that an entire empire changed its military just to beat him? This is the story of Hannibal Barca, the man who brought Rome to its knees, and the city that both created and betrayed him, Carthage. Our story begins not in the heat of battle, but with a solemn oath. Imagine a young boy, Hannibal, standing before his father, Hamilcar Barca, a powerful Carthaginian general, with his hand on a sacred altar. He swears eternal hatred for Rome. This single promise would ignite one of the most epic conflicts in ancient history, the Second Punic War. Carthage, a mighty Phoenician power in North Africa, was the master of the Mediterranean. Its vast trade network and powerful navy made it a direct rival to the ambitious, rising Republic of Rome. The two giants had already clashed once in the First Punic War, leaving a bitter taste of defeat and a burning desire for revenge in the hearts of Carthaginians like Hannibal's family. In 218 BCE, Hannibal decided to do the impossible. He gathered his army, including his legendary war elephants, and embarked on a perilous journey. He marched not by sea, but over the freezing, treacherous peaks of the Alps, descending into Italy like an avalanche. The Romans were caught completely off guard. What followed was a masterclass in military genius. At the Battle of Trebia, Hannibal used the cold and the river to his advantage. At Lake Trasimene, he orchestrated one of history's largest and most successful ambushes. But his masterpiece was the Battle of Cannae. Here, Hannibal, though outnumbered, used a brilliant pincer movement to encircle and annihilate a massive Roman army. The losses were so catastrophic that Rome was plunged into a state of national mourning and panic. Hannibal was the bogeyman Roman mothers used to scare their children into behaving. Hannibal agi portas. They'd say Hannibal is at the gates. For over a decade, he ravaged the Italian peninsula, a ghost that the Roman legions couldn't catch or defeat. He was a leader who inspired unwavering loyalty, a tactical genius who could turn any landscape into a death trap for his enemies. But here's the twist. Despite his string of stunning victories, Hannibal never marched on the city of Rome itself. Why? Historians debate this endlessly. Was it a lack of siege equipment? Were his forces too depleted? Or was it something else? A crucial weakness was the lack of consistent support from his own government back in Carthage. The Carthaginian Senate, wary of his growing power and the immense cost of the war, hesitated to send the reinforcements and supplies he desperately needed to deliver the final blow. While Hannibal was tied down in Italy, a new Roman general rose to prominence, Scipio, later known as Africanus. Learning from Hannibal's own tactics, Scipio decided to change the game. Instead of fighting Hannibal in Italy, he took the war directly to Carthage's doorstep, invading North Africa. The plan worked. Panicked, the Carthaginian Senate recalled their greatest general. Hannibal, undefeated on foreign soil, was forced to return home to defend his city. In 202 BCE, the two legendary commanders finally met at the Battle of Zama. But this time, Hannibal's army was a shadow of its former self, filled with raw recruits instead of his Alpine veterans. Scipio, employing Hannibal's own flexible tactics against him, secured a decisive victory for Rome. The war was over. Carthage was stripped of its territories, its navy, and its pride. Hannibal's life's work, fueled by that childhood oath, ended in defeat. He spent years in exile, still hunted by the Romans he had sworn to destroy. Decades later, Rome, still haunted by the memory of his genius, would return one last time in the Third Punic War to wipe Carthage from the face of the earth. Hannibal's legacy is a paradox. He was the architect of Rome's greatest fear, and in doing so, he forced his enemy to evolve into the unstoppable empire that would dominate the world. He remains a symbol of brilliant defiance, a military legend whose strategies are still studied today, and a tragic hero betrayed as much by his own city's greed and fear as by the might of Rome. Thanks so much for watching. If you're fascinated by the epic tales of history, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories of legendary figures and ancient empires. See you next time.